talking about video games. Yeah! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Donkey Kong Artist Podcast from our houses because we can't go outside. We also have a lot of beer. I am Patrick Shanley, and I am still the editor of video games at The Hollywood Reporter. And joining me, as always, is my best friend and co-host, Edmund Arnold. Edmund, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Patrick. I'm doing well, just playing a lot of video games and trying not to go insane. How are you doing, my man?
I'm good. I feel like, based on your beard, you're failing at not going insane.
Oh,
and
no, I'm there.
Also joining us this week is my other best friend, Collin Codega. Collin, how are you doing?
Hey, Pat and Eddie. I'm doing great. Just weird times these days, but I have a lot more time to stay inside and finally work on that backlog and play some video games.
That's very true.
I played so many video games, you guys. It's been really kind of gross. There's like an impression of my couch from my ass.
Can I say something that might be not popular to say? I've actually been, I know the coronavirus is not anything to take lightly. I know we've lost a bunch of people, but I've gotten back into video games thanks to it. I was falling out of video games this beginning of the year because it's just been, we haven't had a good year in my opinion. I think the only game that really caught my attention this year so far was Kakarot. So other than that,
I don't know if you can see our reactions to you.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. But it's been, it seems like with Final Fantasy VII dropping, Animal Crossing dropping, I am full on in the game mode, and I don't know how you guys are feeling right now about all that.
Thank God those games dropped during this lockdown. Otherwise, I would have lost my freaking mind. All right, those are the two hot topics right now, I feel like. So let's just hop right into it. I like Final Fantasy VII. I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned this on this podcast.
Really?
It's a good game. It's a little-known game. I never talk about it. I was really, really, really excited for this. I beat it before it came out, so I kind of just watched people react to it the same way that I reacted to it. I am very interested in, both of you are playing it, I'm assuming, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. How far are you into the game?
I want to say...
Before we start, I don't want to do, like, spoilers. We can do a spoiler cast later, but, like, I just want to gauge about how far into it you are.
I'm at chapter, I believe, 8 or 9, so I think that's a good way. I'm in my second reactor. I'm working on or coming to the ending of that. So I believe Eddie's a little further than me, though.
I am. I believe the big major event just happened. I don't know exactly what chapter I'm on, but
oh, okay, I know what you're saying.
The big major event just happened. Barrett, Tifa, and Cloud are in my party, and we're about to go into Shinra. I believe that's where I'm at right now.
We're pretty far along there.
Yeah, I'm almost done. I've cranked out a lot of this game, and I probably wouldn't have not done this if we weren't on shelter in place right now.
Yeah, I was about to make fun of you, and then I realized that we can't go outside, so it's not that thing. Yeah. Have either of you been the original?
I've only made it outside of, I think, the first 45 minutes of Final Fantasy VII, and that was on my PlayStation 4. So I have zero context. I've been hearing from so many people being like, and I'm really curious to see how people deal with the twist, or there's a lot of information, I think, based off the original, which I have zero context. I am loving this game. I put it down. I haven't played it in the last few days just because, life comes up. But it is, I think, my experience lately, I've been playing a lot of the Yakuza and Judgment games I have over the last few years. So I think it's been a nice kind of introduction almost to this remake because you get a lot of the humor there, a lot of the fast-paced combat. And just at the end of the day, I think it's really cool seeing something that has had this build-up for so long, this cult following. And as an adult, when I play that game, it was difficult for me to see and have this vision of the whole town and the system and just how cool the scenery of Final Fantasy VII is. And I feel like me being an adult, I didn't have the imagination. So it's really cool hearing people from you two who I'm sure will have this idea. This is probably how you saw it as a kid playing the game. Maybe envisioned the world. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear from you.
I even texted Pat 2 weeks ago, and I was just like, I can't believe you love this game so much with how liberal it is. Because I didn't realize that there is so much, there's a lot of like globalization and the corporations are ruining our environment. And
play as an eco-terrorist in the game.
Exactly. And I had some mixed feelings because I'm like, all right, I'm playing as a terrorist right now. I don't agree with the way that they're, getting their message across. I hope they allude to that in the next. I know it's not going to probably be this game, but it's probably going to be the next game. I spoiled the ending.
17 years from now, yeah.
I read the ending of the remake. I cannot wait to get to the ending. The ending sounds insane. I don't. We probably going to do a spoiler podcast at some point, but like the stuff that they're doing with the ending, if I'm reading it correctly, and I have to still play it, it sounds extremely interesting.
The ending is
extremely interesting.
Bananas. It's just complete nonsense thrown on top of nonsense. So we will do a spoiler cast about that. What I will say about the beginning of the game, this isn't like a huge spoiler, it's way different in terms of the way that the heroes are presented in the new remake. In the original, you murder a whole bunch of people. Like innocent people get murdered.
And you're the one who plants the bomb. It's not Shinra. Like it's
not you're not getting the whole context of, or you're not getting all that, like, you know, drones coming through and there's a lot more like evil forces at play. You're just more of watching the story play out, correct?
Right.
And
yeah, you're a terrorist.
You're a terrorist.
You blow a bomb up and kill a whole bunch of innocent people who live there. But you're doing it for the greater good. But you have to reconcile that later in the game. So now they take all of that away.
Let me ask you, do you like what they did? Because I know, especially with the first two bombs, I think the first bomb, you kind of set it off, but it sounds like Shinra's kind of letting you set it off. The second bomb is deliberately set off by Shinra.
Yeah.
Do you like those changes? Because for me, the original game, one of the best parts of the original game for me was Barrett kind of his character development to him in the very beginning being very self-righteous about being a terrorist, and then him like in the middle of the game being like, man, I don't know if this was the right way to do this. Like his character arc in the first, besides the way he talked, I thought his character arc in the first game was fantastic, and I'm interested to see if they're still going to go that same way with him being a good dad, him taking care of. I don't want to spoil it. Never mind. Marlene, but I was going to say Marlene is you know, the daughter of his best friend that he lost in a war. So you know, I'm wondering if they're going to allude to that. So, were you upset by the changes that they made in the remake, or were you okay with it?
That was I thought it was going to be my big complaint was going to be that, and then it really changed a whole bunch of things later on. Though the core storyline is still pretty much the same, even with the ending that they have. I don't like it because it kind of taints the story a little bit. It's like less of a nuanced story. Now it's just like Shinra is big and evil and bad, which they were in the original, but like you were also doing pretty messed up stuff. And Cloud's an asshole.
Yeah.
That's kind of he's still an asshole kind of in this new remake, but he's like also too cool and like too put together. In the first one, he's a giant poser. Like that's the whole point of his character, is that he's a liar. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he's crazy, but he's a poser and he's kind of a dick to everybody.
Yeah. Well, he stole someone's identity essentially, but
spoiler.
In the original, we're not there yet.
23 years ago.
Does that character even get introduced in the? Sorry, Collin. Does Zach even get introduced in this game?
I don't know. That's a good question.
See, I will say, Eddie, I think that going through and playing the early set, like totally understandable, you know, your thoughts on things. To me, it senses that they're getting a lot of, they're setting it up to have an inner conflict between all of Avalanche, I would say, or at least some members, because seeing the actual shit, what's the name of the corporation they're fighting? I'm Shinra, when you actually see like the employees on the train and you're hearing them talk out, they're used to their way of life, and you may be righteous. And I think that's really cool being, you know, for me playing this for the first time and seeing that. And I really like, now I'm thinking through, I'm like, oh, what are they setting up? And now I'm really excited to eventually beat it. And I don't know if I'm going to go back and play the original, but I for sure now every decision they make, I'm like, what was the original? What was this? And it's really cool to think through that they've been able to keep the story the same, but it seems like they're changing a lot, and they could go a lot of directions from what I heard in the next iteration too. So who knows what the final end product's going to be.
Or if we'll ever even get it. It took this long to get this one, so who knows.
There's that.
My favorite part of the remake is, this must have been done intentionally, because everyone always makes fun of the character models from the original because they look like Popeye because it's so like polygonal and everything.
Yeah.
So they made everyone look like an underwear model in the new one. Even Wedge looks like an underwear model. Everyone is so hot in Final Fantasy VII.
I tweeted that. Like, it's embarrassing how hot everyone is. Like, it's the horniest game I've ever played in my life.
I was going to say, everyone's horny.
Yeah, it's the horniest. Like, Jesse's basically like, oh, just come to my house. Just do it. Just to come to my house. And, like, I don't know you. Like, what's going on here?
And it's like Aerith, when they first meet, it's literally like, hey, like, you can do this. Your payment's going to be a date with me. And it's like, hee, and like walk away. But it's very innocent. It's very innocent. And that's what I genuinely, like, I feel good playing this game. And even though, like, there's like just the interaction between all the characters and everything, it's a very feel good game between the character interactions.
That annoys me. The horniness of this game annoys me because the original characters, there was none of this. There was none of this in the original.
It doesn't annoy you though because you're not having sex. Is that why?
Probably. That could be it.
Because you're also horny on me.
Let's get out there. Let me get my therapist on the line. Let's see what she thinks. But yeah. No, but it's just like always in your face. And I'm like, man, you guys don't know. Cloud's an absolute asshole to Jesse. Like my favorite line in the beginning of the game is when Jesse's trying to like explain to him how to do something. He's like, do you know what I do? It's like the greatest, like the delivery is, I laughed for like 10 minutes straight. Like Cloud's an asshole. And
Cloud is great in the new, actually all the main cast and including the supporting cast, everyone in the characterization in this game is fantastic.
Oh, the voice acting is phenomenal. Great. Yeah. Like
it's not just the acting, though, the writing of them. They feel super familiar, but like so much more fleshed out as characters, which is why the story being a little bit less nuanced is a little underwhelming to me because they did so great in so many ways. And then
I think that's awesome too. And I talked to Collin, this is like a side note, but like the kids that they have in that game are some of the most believable kids I've ever seen. Like when Cloud goes and saves those two and they're just like having that like argument about what Cloud sounds like when he's swinging his sword. I was just like, oh, this is gold. This is really good. Really, really good stuff here.
Sorry, go ahead, Pat.
No, please.
I was going to say, I mean, to go along with that, I think maybe now that I'm going through it in my head, a lot of the feel-goodness isn't just the character interaction, but just how perfectly every song is playing at the right time when you walk in somewhere. And it just, like, literally the fact that when I'm in Sector 5, in every little area, district of the tinier area, a map I'm in has its own little unique song. Then I go into an area and a jukebox is playing a song. Yes. Every damn time I'm getting that song and I'm buying that fit for 50.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. My favorite thing of this entire game was collecting the songs. That was like my number one goal was to get every song in this game.
And I never care about those usually. And it's genuinely, I hear the soundtrack super expensive, but it's to the point where I'm like, I could see myself as putting on this music as background music. It's
Aerith's theme. I want to get married to that song. That song's so beautiful. Like every time Aerith's theme comes up, I'm like, oh, tear. It's a beautiful soundtrack. And I forgot how beautiful the soundtrack was.
Well, that was so great. The original is maybe my favorite video game soundtrack of all time is the original Final Fantasy VII. And Nobuo Uematsu, the guy who does it, is a genius. Like he's like John Williams of video games, maybe better than John Williams, whatever. The new game like takes all these familiar songs and then tweaks them and also adds in new songs. And like you said, when you're walking around Wall Market and it plays the same song in different themes and motifs when you move into different parts of town, is like, oh my God, it's amazing. I wanted to live in Wall Market. I never wanted to leave that section.
That was the best part. I haven't played beyond Wall Market, but that section of the game was phenomenal. Like I loved every part of Wall Market. Like it made me a fan of this game. Like it's hard for me to play this game now because I just want to be in Wall Market all the time. Like that dance sequence is gold. It's all gold. It's hilarious. It's gold.
The most insane thing I've ever seen.
It's insane. But the fact that they were able to take such a controversial segment of that game, revamp it to 2020 and still make it seem like it's not that, I could be wrong, but it didn't seem like it was that offensive. It seemed like they did it very well.
I think they did a great job. And I think it not only like it keeps all the heart of the original one of that segment of the game and all the weird kookiness of it, and then kind of makes it completely different. So I thought I knew what was going to happen and all the things to collect, and then it was different. They switched it. And all the guys in the gym were perfect, like exactly the way they're supposed to be. Dude, it's so good. If the whole game was just that section of Midgar, I think I would like the game even more as a match.
Yeah.
It is good. It is interesting in certain parts of Midgar. I find myself as I'm playing, I'm almost there are certain areas where I'm almost looking for items. Like my brain is just trained for open world games where in the beginning, first couple hours, I feel like when we were right before we get to Jessie's house in the game and you're going to kind of go sneak into her house, she has you go and you're just walking around the area in front of there, and it's just like it was so empty and huge and it looked amazing, but I was almost like having to stop myself. I'm like, okay, I don't hear a song, there's no collectible. It's like maybe there'll be a chest, but it's nothing game altering that I have to go out of the way. And it's almost like I wish more games respected my time like that, instead of, because my brain, I'm just automatically, let me go grab that, but it's not important.
You know, so many people, one of the complaints that I've seen about this game is that it reminded people of Final Fantasy 13, where like you're kind of in a hallway is what they said, you know, like the game is on rails in a lot of ways, where it's just directing you objective to objective. But the thing is that's what the original part of Midgar was in the first one. And that was the huge reveal at the end of the Midgar section of the original game, is that like, oh, this is actually an open world game. And it was this huge moment where you're standing on the edge of the freeway, like looking out. So I actually kind of like that they kept it that way and then made it sort of like a contained open world. You know, you got to explore these little parts of a city. You're in a slum. Like, where are you going to go? That's kind of the point of the thing. I think it fit the setting.
The thing I have to say that could be controversial, and Pat and Collin, you guys, again, I'm not a game developer, but for this game to take so long to make, I'm kind of confused because there's so much gray, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of. And don't get me wrong, the battle system is very intricate. That's one of the most intricate battle systems I've ever played in a JRPG. I love the battle system. I'm surprised it took us so long to talk about the battle system. It's phenomenal. But I'm sitting here playing this game, and I'm like, there's not a lot of variety in the environments. There's not a lot of variety in basically anything. Why did it take them so long to make this game?
I think it's because they were concurrently making like tons of other games.
Yeah.
Well, and on top of that, I think, you know, it's one, they're trying to also, it's not just creating a new game, but you have to so delicately navigate the story and characters. So I think you have that. Two, it's super impressive. I feel like God of War may have done this in a more shiny bells and whistle way, but the way it would create an effective no loading screen. God of War, I think, was more through cutscenes and stuff, so it's a little less in your face. In this game, there's a lot of moments where you're kind of maybe going through a tight alleyway, so all of a sudden you're kind of navigating. I don't know for a fact. I think they're hiding their loading screens.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that may have taken some time, because it is really impressive how I'll just put my controller down. I'm like, I literally didn't set this down, even though I was watching some cutscenes here and there, because you're pretty involved the whole time you're playing this game.
Very true, yeah.
It's not like, I don't know. I feel like when I used to play Final Fantasy X, that was my first one I played a lot of. Some of the cutscenes in that game, I could set down my controller for 45 minutes and it would still be playing. This, not so much. So I think that could have done a lot, too, of trying to make it flow so well with no loading.
Final Fantasy X is like 70% a movie.
Which makes sense. They were showing off the PlayStation graphics at the time. I mean, remember, my mind has probably never been blown like the level of seeing Titus and whoever the other person was when they were spinning around in water and stuff. Like,
name is Yuna. God,
that's the original horny game. That's the game that made Final Fantasy games horny.
Oh, that game is so
horniness through dialogue. You just couldn't do it through anything else. So that game, they could actually show their body language. Final Fantasy's always been horny since it's gone to PlayStation.
Yeah, but we've achieved peak horniness now with the rendering of Jesse. That is the top. That's the echelon, the apex of horniness.
Yeah. I've never seen a thirstier character in a video game ever. Like, I love her. I do like Jesse. I really do enjoy. I enjoy all the characters. All the Biggs is dope. Like early Mel Gibson Biggs is dope. Like, I love Biggs.
Dude, even he's so. Why is everyone so good looking?
Everyone's good. Even like the side characters, like that old woman.
Beautiful.
I'm like, okay, old lady. Okay, you look good. Okay, yeah. Like, all right. So I haven't gotten Red, so I bet you even Red's hot.
Yeah,
that's the way they're going.
If you had to, do it with a dog from a laboratory,
is he a dog or a lion?
I don't know, but I want to do him. Let's talk about the combat system, because Eddie was all into it. First off, how many times have you died? Because this game kicks the crap out of you at the beginning of it.
The bosses, I'm actually doing well. The hardest section
part is hard. It's
the hardest section I had was when you first go into that train station, the graveyard, and you have to fight these little Collin. You're gonna get there. It's frustrating, and they bring up these two ghosts that you have to beat down, and then it throws these scorpions at you, and like 4 at a time can jump on you. Oh my! I died at that part like 6 or 7 times. But other than that, I think the combat is in a way where it's like if you die one time, you're like, okay, I understand what I have to do now, and then you can go back in and get through it pretty quickly.
Every game needs to take their like load screen after dying, like how you can go just to the battle, you can go to your last checkpoint, because I think just being able to just go back to the battle and being able to like, oh, okay, let me reset my materia and really think about it, I think is awesome.
Yeah,
I think I just started getting to the point though where I need to start really thinking about it. It was I think is it the haunted house or the hell house or something like that, where it's like the house with legs and stuff. So that was the first time where I was like, oh shit, I need to like take a step back and actually think about this instead of just, hey, let me butt mash with Cloud. I can send some commands here and there. Is like, it became like a full-on tactics game at that point for me and not an action game.
That fight takes like 50 minutes too. It just keeps going forever. It's gnarly. What was I going to say? I had a good point. You guys probably didn't notice this when you were playing because there's no reason for you to do this. Every single cutscene in that entire game, right from the very beginning, is skippable. You can skip anything at any point.
Mm-hmm. I did know that, yeah.
Which is a cool option to have. It's weird in a game like that because it's so story-driven. But if you die or have to go back, or if you're playing it a second time, you can just and breeze through the game.
I will say JRPGs are usually good about that. JRPGs are usually good about skipping scenes. Actually, mostly Japanese games. Games that are developed in Japan are really good about that. Because I know Mercy and Yakuza games, you can just fly through them if you need to. So, but I did enjoy that but I'm watching all the cutscenes in Final Fantasy. That's what I'm so surprised about. I'm watching the cutscenes because it's actually, the character development's pretty good. But just getting back to the battle system, it's just the way that the battle system works, and just the way that you have to jump between three characters in order to like get your combos ready or whatever. I just think it's very intricate. It's very fun, and it's challenging. Like you said, Pat, it's a challenging game, and I don't think we see a lot of that in JRPGs where you get that challenge. But I also feel like I don't have to grind, and that's what I love about Final Fantasy VII. It's the first JRPG I play in a long time where I feel like I don't have to constantly grind for hours before I'm ready. It's more of like, okay, I failed this way. Maybe if I throw like a combo with Barret and then switch to Cloud at that point, then that's the way you can work it out. It's like a Dark Souls-y kind of way.
Yeah, it's more of an action game than it is like an RPG in terms of its combat, right? Like you don't have to level up to be able to take down things of higher levels. It's more figure out whatever their trick is and then be able to, utilize that in the next round.
Yeah.
Which is great for people who are good at video games, but people like me who are used to old school Final Fantasies, it's a little annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I almost feel like they could have, in my opinion, done a better job of having it ramp up and scale up. I feel like it kind of plateaus and then it just spikes.
Oh, just wait.
All of a sudden.
No, you're there. You're there. The difficulty spike after the Hell House was like, and I was like, what the? I was frustrated.
Yeah, it's like a different game. All right, I could talk about Final Fantasy VII forever.
We know.
Interest of time. Let's talk about the other gigantic game that's happening right now, and that's Animal Crossing, a game that Eddie pretty much lives in at this point. Explain to me why you like it.
It's a casual Stardew Valley.
Yeah,
it's a casual Stardew Valley, and I don't even want to compare Stardew Valley to Animal Crossing because I think it does it a disservice. But I think we're at a time right now where I think boring games. We're at a time where we can appreciate boring games. And I'm not calling, Animal Crossing. I have a lot of fun with Animal Crossing. I have 160 hours already in the Animal Crossing.
You literally just said it was a boring game.
It's a boring game if you're a Call of Duty fan, or if you're like hardcore action fan, this is not the game for you. But if you're looking for a game that you can slowly build your town, like enjoy yourself, not be pressured into anything, and play it on your own level, like play at your own leisure, and this is the perfect game for you.
The thing I think is amazing about it is how it implements like real time, so everyone's kind of playing on like a single timeline, and like things update in real time, and you get like updates every morning, and the game kind of tells you when it's done. Like if you did everything in one day, it's like, all right, you did it, see you later. But I found myself, I played the crap out of it for like 7 straight days, and then on like the 8th day I logged in and I'm like, what am I doing with my life right now? Like walking around chopping down the same stupid tree on the same dumb island, which is like this big. Like I know that they keep adding in new things. I just really lost interest like immediately. I was shocked by how quickly I lost interest in that game.
Yeah, I think they don't it's a game. It's funny. It's so light and easy, but then it doesn't give you all the details you need on like who you need to go talk to. Like I've heard so many stories where they're like, if I would have known I just need to walk up to Tom Nook, hand him a few fish and bugs early on, and that would have gotten me the store. Like there's people like I waited a week because I didn't know I needed to go talk to him and give him that. So there's so many little things like that. I think that's just how the game is and always been. I played multiple other Animal Crossing. This is the first time I haven't time jumped. So if you know Animal Crossing, a lot of people do this and break the system. Back in the GameCube days, you could change your system clock, and then that's how you would get around it only being able to do so much in one day. But then you get shamed by the game over and over again for doing that, which actually it's really cool because beyond just having the button mash through dialogue, it doesn't actually do anything to you. It kind of breaks the spirit of the game, but if you want to do it, you can. At first, I felt overwhelmed by Animal Crossing. I've put in probably about like 100 hours. Like I put in a lot of time on it. Love the game. I've now hit a point where I don't feel like I have a ton to do. So it's more of like I spend 5 to 20 minutes in it every day, log in, do a couple things. And then it's like, oh, what's in my furniture stores or something I want? Great. And it's now about customizing my own little house. But at the end of the day, it's just a fun little distraction. I'm curious how long I'm going to stick with it at this point.
And it was never designed to be a game that you play hours and hours and hours every day. It was always a game that was designed for you to check in periodically, like every day. Like it was a game that they wanted you to play like 30 to 45 minutes a day.
Yeah.
That's the initial. And I feel like a lot of people fell off of Animal Crossing because we went on the shelter in place right when it came out. And everyone was putting in hours and hours and hours and hours when it first released. I don't think it was designed to be played that way.
But like, the thing is like, I get that, but it's also a $60 game. And like, if I'm only supposed to be playing it for 30 to 45 minutes a day and there's not enough content to like stretch out for more than that, then it's basically like a mobile game that I paid $60 for.
Yeah, it's also, it can also be, you can call that a lifestyle game, right?
I guess, yeah. I mean, look, it comes down to whatever your personal preference is. And clearly a lot of people love this game and are playing the crap out of it. I also love the social aspect of it, and everyone's kind of like sharing this game at the same time. Mm-hmm. I just felt like I played it. I thought I was going to get really into it, and it was a good distraction for a little bit. And I felt like it was like playing a mobile game. I was like, okay, I did it. Like, there's nothing left in this game for me. Like, what do I care about meeting another dumb villager? Or like, you can make a song now for your island. Like, I don't give a crap about that. And I just moved on to other games immediately.
Yeah, and it's not for everyone.
Did you ever play the like GameCube or the older Animal Crossings?
No, so I feel like that's maybe my issue here is that I've never played Animal Crossing before. So this is my first Animal Crossing experience. So I feel like if you like the game, it's probably like the best version of Animal Crossing that's come out so far, right?
And yeah, no, it's not. It's really? Not. Wow. No, I will say this right now, as someone who's
about to die, and
500 and 600 hours. No, it's. I know I need to hide.
I feel the heat of the pitchforks behind me showing up.
Yeah, I need to I'm checking my bag right now. It's not, but a lot of these Animal Crossing people who have been playing this game since the Nintendo DS, GameCube days, they've said the same thing. This is a very bare bones experience. Whereas they're adding Red, they're adding a new addition to the museum. That never happened in the past games. We all got that on release.
But the one thing I'm wondering, I feel like day one, this was actually the most complete game. I think the overall Animal Crossing experience, it was missing stuff that they're patching in, but I think you could actually do a lot more without time jumping early on. I was going to say, if Pat would have played these games, the last version or the version before, I think day one you would have had even less to do to move around. That's what I remember, but it's been a while since.
Collin, do you think that they implemented the slow patches per month to prevent people from time jumping? Because I know, like in the past, especially with New Leaf, like you could time jump as much as you want, and by the people in the first month, they already had Brewster's coffee shop and all the upgrades to Nook's, Nook. What was it called? The Nookstrums, because they took that from Nordstrom's. So, I mean, and you could do that in a week. I wonder, do you think that they did this in order to keep people from time jumping?
I don't. I think it's more of an issue because they're just coming, not even an issue. I think they're coming off of Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. They had the mobile edition, and I think they saw probably they could be a lot more nimble and flexible when it came to seasonal events. So just like if they would have went ham, because the Bunny Day event, that was pre-built. Like that's not something they were making last second. So imagine if every in-holiday event was like the Bunny Day event. But the fact that they're not putting these in ahead of time, they can now go and actually adjust for their next event coming up for Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were on camera right there, but Edmund just shot himself.
Yeah,
That one-day event was terrible.
it was bad.
The worst. I wanted to kill everything. Oh my god, I hate Easter.
But dude, if just that's what the whole game is. It's just like collect 10 of these random items and then bring them to me. Oh, thanks for that. Now you can collect 10 of these random items. That's the game. That's the entire freaking game.
I don't know. It's more like collecting your shared space or collecting items to build your shared space so that you can share it with friends. And the one thing I will say about this Animal Crossing that's different than the others is that we have Twitter now. And Animal Crossing, seeing like people post their stuff on Twitter and seeing people like post their QR codes of their creations on Twitter. We didn't have that before. So that has been, like you said, Pat, the social aspect of this game has been phenomenal. And you just to see how many people that I would never expect to be in the Animal Crossing get into it.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
how you play it. It's how you play it is way different.
It's cool to have it like open to stuff. I'm just saying, like, I opened mine up and then I had like 4 publicists show up and start playing ocarinas on my island, and I wanted to smash my Switch to pieces.
That's the friends you play with.
Well,
That's on me.
That's the people you play with.
Funny though, I was just giving props to like, hey, Nintendo, like you're doing seasonal events. They're figuring out ways to be flexible. But when the fact that you have to open up your island, and then when someone shows up, it literally shuts down the game for everyone and shows like a screen being like, hey, someone's traveling here. And if I'm in my inventory, then that person can't even travel there. Like, it blows my mind that they have not figured out a better way.
Talking about Nintendo. Why
are they so bad at this? It's crazy town.
We're talking about Nintendo.
I've been playing Warzone like crazy. I've been playing so much Warzone. It's kind of unhealthy, actually, how much I've been playing. But that game is so easy to just launch and start up. I played it with coworkers. I played with like rando people that I've become friends with. Like,
you've asked me to play and I won't go on.
Yeah, I know you never play. Anyway, Warzone has it like down. It is a phenomenal online experience. And then you log on to Animal Crossing, and it's like playing in 2003.
Yeah, but I think, Call of Duty's been pulling out multiplayer games since 2011. Nintendo's just getting into multiplayer, so I mean, it's
Nintendo makes billions of dollars a year, and they've been making video games for longer than like any other.
Their first really big foray into multiplayer was Splatoon.
It's called it's pricing elasticity. That's all it is. I'm going to throw some jargon at you. Pricing elasticity. It's because no matter what feature of internet or accessibility when it comes to joining a game, we're all buying Animal Crossing anyways. Now, if Call of Duty is going to have issues with joining games like that, that's going to hit them in their pocketbooks.
Yeah.
Online features Nintendo, they would actually lose money if they probably spent money to develop these features. Like, they probably determined, like, hey, people are going to buy this anyways. Why should we spend money on it? Which stinks, but it's probably the truth.
You sound like you work for Nintendo, Con.
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
no, they wouldn't like me. I'd be like,
I don't know. Not my cup of tea. Whatever. There's lots of games out right now that are doing good.
You like Final Fantasy X. So, whatever. I don't care about your opinion on games. Like, Final Fantasy X was garbage, and you're over there saying it's one of the best Final Fantasy games.
How dare you? How many Final Fantasy games have you even played?
Not 10. Actually, I played 10. I hated 10.
10 is amazing. You're an idiot.
I think both you need to have a gamer off. You guys can list off how big of a gamer you are, and we can have everyone determine who's the bigger.
It's your preference, because everyone knows. Like, you guys know, I love those like Harvest Moon, Stardew Valleys. Like, that's my cup of tea. So
that dork stuff
right there.
You bought Shenmue 3. I mean, that sounds like the most boring game ever.
Take that back. I haven't even played Shenmue 3. I can't even. I have it on my life. I was going to play it during this quarantine, so I need to get into it.
Eddie, I saw you the other day still playing Judgment, which I know that you've already beaten.
I haven't beat it yet. No, I'm playing Judgment.
I'm
playing it like a TV show. I'm playing it like I'll beat a chapter, and then I don't want to beat that game because I love it so much. I love Judgment
before.
I've never played Judgment. I need to play Judgment.
I'd be curious how you would like it. I've played probably halfway through Judgment myself. I think I kicked like Eddie's button to like basically he saw me playing it. He's like, oh, I got to get back into this. Like this was like a month or two ago, but it is a really good game. And it's just a good like lawyer procedural type of.
Yeah.
Good.
We had a really good review of it. My reviewer loved it. I don't know. I feel like I get really, really into a game. I play it until like the wheels fall off of it, and then I need to go like find another game. And I'm like searching for a game that like clicks in the same way, and it like takes a while before that happens.
I feel the same way. I'm at that point with Final Fantasy VII right now. I know that I just need to like push through it, but like that fall off from Wall Market to After Wall Market was just, oh my god! Like,
I don't disagree with you. I agree. You got to finish it though. Like
I'm getting there. I'm like, I'm gonna like sit down and play it this weekend. But like every time I launch that game, I'm like, it's like it's becoming a chore. So
it's funny. I get the same way, but then every time I've fought through it, and every time I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did that. But there is this weird mental thing. I have the same block where I turn, and like the other night I did it. I was like, oh, and then I was like, actually, I could play Civilization on my Switch, and then I played Civ 6 for 200 minutes.
5-year-old game.
And I'm playing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze right now on my Switch.
Fantastic game.
Talk about a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Great
music. It has
music.
a fantastic soundtrack. That game is hard, by the way.
So hard, so quick too.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so difficult.
That's like regarded. It was heavily regarded when it came out. People loved that game. I don't think we ever talked about it though.
Yeah, because it came out on the Wii U, which like 7 people owned.
I mean, when it re-released on Switch, everybody was talking about it for a little bit.
People were pissed because it was $60 because it was a re-release.
I was pissed because it was $60. I was pissed because Final Fantasy VII Remake was $60. But now that I'm playing it, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Okay, this is a $60 game.
More than anything, when I see Final Fantasy VII, I'm like, how are they making money off this? This looks like it was so expensive to make.
Yeah.
It costs more than the GDP of like most countries in the entire world.
So crazy. Well, hopefully though they can take the tech and then that's what they're going to use for like I'm hopeful for future Final Fantasy single player games. I'm curious, are they going to use this?
We're ever going to get another Final Fantasy game,
or is this going to be the remake version where they make Final Fantasy VIII remake? They make is this? I'm curious.
God, no. Final Fantasy VIII is garbage.
Why would they give us another Final Fantasy when they can just go back and remake all their games? I feel like this is just going to be Square Enix's thing now.
I would literally buy every single one of those except.
But look how well Final Fantasy VII Remake did. I mean, I think you could do the same numbers.
Well, I don't know, maybe 10, but I feel like over the years it's kind of dropped off more. 7 is special. Like 7 is of the top 10 games of all time, almost always on that list.
That's true. Yeah. But you can also say like if this game does very well, you're gonna introduce a new fan base of Final Fantasy games, and then you can go back and introduce like a whole bunch of like 3 and 9. I would love to see 9 remade.
9 is amazing. But look at the remasters. I mean, they already remastered a whole bunch of these, and they're doing fantastic. Like, and people were pissed that they didn't remaster 8, so much so that they like responded and then put it back out there. Also, look at the Resident Evil games. They're remaking those. Remaking is a real trend, and it's really happening. And I've written a couple stories about this.
Well, look at the Trials of Mana reviews that came out today. People love Trials of Mana, and that's another Square Enix.
That, by the way, and I guess I'm allowed to talk about it, but I've been playing that for the last like week.
You like it?
No, not at all, frankly.
I get the vibe, like, from the stuff I've seen on it. I can see why people would like it, but to play an art style game like that for so long, it seems like it would be tough for me to slog through.
Sorry, I don't want to be a jerk to this game because it is a very well-made game, and my reviewer really liked it a lot. It is just not for me. It was like Dragon Quest, where, like, I just am not into it. I love Final Fantasy, but I'm not a huge JRPG fan from, like, the 90s and the 2000s.
I might have to pick this up if it's like Dragon Quest then. Okay.
It's a lot like Dragon Quest. It looks like Dragon Quest. It plays like Dragon Quest. No, frankly, I think it has a better story. Like, I like the characters. It's awesome.
Oh, okay.
If you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, then you're not. Like, that's it. It's a well-made game.
I might pick it up after Final Fantasy VII then.
Do it.
Yeah. I might have to.
No, you should do it, man.
Yeah. We have nothing else to do, and everyone else seems to be playing video games right now anyway, so.
Drink beer. We were going to talk about how many people are playing video games and how much money they're making, but I feel like everybody knows that. But just to put it in context, the global market for video games in March produced $10 billion worth of spending. $10 billion in March, which is a record, by the way. A lot of people playing video games right now, and I'm wondering if when quarantine ends and movie theaters and like other stuff starts opening up again, if video games is really going to relinquish that much of the market.
Probably not, because we're not going to get a new movie until next year, right?
Even if you do, I mean, like, I feel like games was already the big thing. I think this was like the boot that finally came down. That was just like, video games are the dominant form of pop culture at this moment.
If you have nowhere to go, it's what you can play right now, right? And I think I think it's also bolstered by an Animal Crossing, which anybody can play Animal Crossing. And then Final Fantasy is a lot more popular than people think.
Yeah,
I mean, even beyond just big box video games. I mean, there's instances where my partner, she's going and she's playing Settlers of Catan online against friends, and they used to have game nights weekly, and they're figuring out ways to play online. And I wonder too. I'm like, what if we have an hour to kill and we're sitting around on Saturday now, and in the past, would she ever put on Settlers on her laptop? Never. Now, I think that's actually something that very well could happen. So I'd be curious too if long term, if there's demographics of people that never would have even tried to play a game, and this being their gateway into gaming.
I think everyone is gaming right now. I mean, I started playing Words with Friends with my sister, if you want to call that like gaming and stuff, but like she never played any games.
It's a game.
Yeah. I know I play Warzone with like everyone right now, but like coworkers who I like convinced to buy a PlayStation 4, like who are now logging on to play Warzone with me, like everyone is playing games right now. People I didn't even know own Switches, by the way. I see like tweeting about Animal Crossing, and I'm in like Slack channels at work just talking to people who are like in their 40s and 50s talking about Animal Crossing.
It actually makes me feel good because I've had like people that I went to high school and college with, like I haven't talked to them for a long time, like Facebook me or tweet me, or I'm not saying names, but like asking me like, what video game should I buy right now? I'm like, dude, I don't know how to recommend video games to you. Like I play fucking I play JRPGs. Like I don't know what to recommend to you. So, but yeah, it seems like a lot of people that even didn't play before are really getting into it. So, but I don't think this is going to carry over. Well, I feel like as soon as we get this shelter in place lifted, people are gone.
The interesting side of things is like, I have a family member he's younger and he's 12 years old, and I've been trying to help him out with school and stuff, and seeing all the options of whether it's Nat Geo at home or it was actually a teacher brought up using the Assassin's Creed
yes
thing, and they're doing ancient Greece right now, so they're actually gonna look through there. Also Minecraft, we got to go and they made a per scale replica of the USS International Space Station. So me and him for 20 minutes, we went on Minecraft and messed around and started adding on add-ons to this. So there are other things, I think, where there's parents that never found it acceptable to use video games as a teaching tool. They're now seeing it and being like, oh, I can turn this on and still do my work, or I can go and get chores done around the house and have my kid.
I can shut my kid up for 15 minutes. Yeah.
Or chill out, literally chill out.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you know what we have to deal with every day. Yeah.
Oh,
gosh, help all of you. Yeah. You're seeing the video game companies too, like recognize that Minecraft made a whole bunch of its educational content available for free in light of COVID. A lot of video game companies have actually done really cool things, not just raising money for charity, but also like, speaking just to their audience. With PlayStation, actually, and one of the other games I've been playing is the original Uncharted games, which I never played because I never had a PS3. I kind of missed like that generation of gaming. I had the Xbox 360, but I never played PS3, so I missed all their...
You're not missing much.
Yeah, but the Uncharted games are great, and I never played them, and they're awesome, and now I get to hop in for free.
They hold up great. I bought the Uncharted Legacy Collection like 2 years ago or something, and it was something I just put it on easy, and I kind of sat back and treated it as a movie, and that was one of the most fun video game experience I've had in the last few years. And the fact they're doing that for free, and anyone can download a copy, and it's free forever. So as long as you snag it right now, you own that copy.
I'm a little upset with the way they're branding this because we were going to get a free game anyway with PlayStation. Oh, wait, was this not on PlayStation?
No, it goes on top. This is called Stay at Home, so they're still doing the PS Plus deal. So you still
okay.
This is for anyone, so you don't even have to. I don't know if you have to have PS Plus or not.
That's cool. Okay,
you don't. I didn't know that. PS Plus. Edmund.
My bad. Sorry. I'm the PlayStation stand on the podcast, so
You literally tweeted the other day that you hate Xbox One.
Yeah, my Xbox is a piece of shit. Excuse my language, but I look at it every day and I just want to kick it out my window. I hate it. I hate it. It just takes up space.
Sat there and was looking at his PlayStation, had so much, or his Xbox, and had so much disgust that he had to tweet it in that moment.
I spit on it. I was like, hate you. I hate you. Do something with your life, Microsoft Xbox One.
Make something of yourself.
Seriously, all I do is use it for DC Universe because for some reason DC Universe sucks, and that's the only thing that I can play DC Universe with is my Xbox.
You're talking the app, not the universe, not the MMO.
No, the app, because I still watch that Harley Quinn show, but like it's the only thing I can watch it on. That's the only reason I use my Xbox because it's a trash system.
The animated Harley Quinn series.
It's a good system.
Does DC send you a personal thank you every month for subscribing?
They should. I just forgot.
Between the two of you.
I don't even know where the subscription is. I've been trying to cancel this shit for 3 weeks or 3 months, and I can't find it. I think I subscribed over iTunes because iTunes keeps saying, "Oh, DC Universe." I'm like, how did I do this?
You're locked in life. You can never leave.
No.
You got to cancel the subscription through your iPhone.
It's cool. I use DC Universe.
Just keep it.
Yeah.
Or just throw your Xbox out a window. Either way, they both work.
Or just give it away to a child. Just be like,
You want to take it, probably.
They probably wouldn't. They'd be like, I want a PlayStation. Give this back.
Oh my God,
This isn't a Switch. Get out of here.
All right. I feel like we kind of already did it, but since we're short on time, let's play a little bit of what are you playing, though I think we've mostly talked about it. But also let's talk about what are you drinking, guys?
Drinking nothing because I finished.
What were you drinking?
Why don't you put it, Eddie? Why don't you put in a plug for them then?
I was drinking from my local brewery, the Ocean View Brew Works. I got a hazy IPA today called the Rolling Nowhere. Look at how beautiful their cans are. Though.
That is a beautiful can.
It's a beautiful
That's a nice
can. It's one of my favorite breweries. I go there once a week. So yeah, that's what I was drinking on. And what am I playing? I'm playing a lot. Animal Crossing, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Sims 4. I rebooted Red Dead Redemption 2.
How are you still playing Sims?
I have like 700 hours in The Sims.
Who are you?
It's just I don't know. It's like my addiction. And then I'm gonna get back into Splatoon 2 because they have a Splatfest coming up in a couple weeks. So I'm gonna try to get back into Splatoon 2. That's what I'm playing.
Colin, hit me.
First off of the beer, we got a Racer 5 from Bear Republic. Solid IPA. One of my go-tos. This always got these bad boys in the fridge.
The IPAs.
Yeah, gotta have the IPAs.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, we've got Eddie turned over to the dark side now. He's enjoying the IPAs now.
Yeah,
I just like seeing Eddie drink beer.
It's crazy. He drinks beer more than I do now.
Don't say that. My parents watch this. Don't say that. My parents watch this. I don't drink beer that much. I don't drink beer that much. They're lying. God, Jesus Christ, about to snitch on me. What are you playing, Colin? Tell us what you've been playing all this time. Tell us about the civilization you're into.
Let's see. So we got the Racer 5. Final Fantasy 7. Want to make put a dent into that. Civ 6. Been loving that. Got that on sale. And then Animal Crossing. And then also I'm looking to start playing Deep. What is it? Is it Stranded Deep or Deep Stranded?
Oh, you would.
I gotta look
it up. What?
Death Stranding? What are you talking about?
No, he's talking about a game where it's a survival game that was released on Steam a couple years ago, where essentially you're stranded on an island and you have to build a raft to get yourself off that island.
Stranded Deep, and it just came out on PlayStation yesterday. It's $20, and you start off, you're playing Crashes, and you start off in a raft, and I haven't started yet. I'm excited, and basically you start building and crafting things, and you island hop, and you try to build a shelter, and there's sharks and everything everywhere. It's a game with sharks. I'm going to buy it.
Makes sense. I mean, you can't really go.
If you don't know anything about Colin, if there's a game that has water in it, he's going to buy it.
Like that Man-Eater game that comes out next month, the open world shark game. Oh, I'm going to be playing that.
Yeah, it's the one where you play as Hall & Oates in the 80s, and you like have to go around playing bass and harmonizing with each other.
Boom, 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 boom. We're getting a Seinfeld game, so we might get a Hall & Oates game pretty soon. Who knows?
Don't make a joke about it. There's a Seinfeld game coming. Is that what you said?
A point-and-click adventure Seinfeld game.
Yes!
And I heard it, according to Hollywood Reporter, it did very well.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, it did very well in its screening.
I am drinking Firestone Walker's Pivo Pilsner, though I have been drinking a lot of other Firestone Walker beers.
Firestone Walker.
Might be the best brewery in the world. I'm not sure, but it's definitely up there. As far as games I'm playing, I already beat Final Fantasy VII. I played a lot of Warzone. I have been playing Trials of Mana, and I want to finish it, even though it's not my cup of tea, though it is fun and the art style is good. I've been playing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, but I also want to call out a game which is really cool that I feel like a lot of people don't know. It's called Good Job, with an exclamation point.
I wanted to ask you about that.
It's awesome, and more people need to play it. It's a little indie game. It's available on Switch. It might be on other platforms. I'm not sure, but I'm playing it on Switch. It's by a Dutch developer, a small one. They're called Paladin Studios. I'm pretty sure that's it. I want to make sure I'm getting it right because, yeah, Paladin Studios. It's a Dutch game developer. The game is you're kind of like a little stick figure that walks around in like a corporate environment, and you're tasked with doing very menial things like plugging in a projector. But you get more points the more stuff you destroy in the room. And so it shows you at the end, it shows you all the things you destroyed throughout the room, and everything is destructible, and it's all physics-based. And it's like the most fun thing to pop into for like 7 minutes that has ever been made. It's incredible. I love this game, and I wish more people knew about it, so go play Good Job.
I'm going to download it probably tonight then.
I think it only costs like $7 or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
a cheap game.
Fantastic game.
And it's one of those like Nintendo indies that we should support because they do a very good job with their indie games.
We should do an entire podcast about Nintendo's indies because their pivot to really supporting the indie community has been amazing and should be applauded.
And you're not really seeing that from any other developer right now. you would think that Microsoft, being Microsoft, especially with what they're doing right now, they would try to like do some more of that, like let's bring in some indie developers and build them up, but whatever.
I mean, I'd be curious too to go along with that. I mean, I'm wondering if more Sony and Microsoft that they even more heavily start investing in indie studios right now, because who knows, a year or two from now, we may be only getting a strong influx in a lot of indie games where it's smaller teams that are really flexible and they can adapt and work from home, because a lot of the issues trying to create games when you can't bring your proprietary machinery home. Like companies are trying to figure out legally how they can even let their engineers and developers work from home.
And just off of that point, let's say, I mean, the BAFTA Game Awards, say what you ever want about them, but Outer Wilds won Game of the Year there. That was an indie game. It was made by a very small studio here in Los Angeles, and it deserved to win. And then you also have Ori and the Will of the Wisps, based off of what Collin just said. That game was made completely remotely. Everyone who worked on that game was not in the same physical location. Yeah, isn't that incredible?
That's interesting.
Yeah. And that's something that can be done now, and you're going to see a lot more of that, because why wouldn't you? You know?
And it's almost like you're going to be incentivized to do that. And it's like, that's the only way you're going to be able to be nimble to produce. I mean, there's a lot, who knows, but I feel like those smaller nimble studios are the ones that are actually having some sense of normalcy right now compared to these large, big budget studios.
Well, how many games did we get postponed from the big budget studios? We had Last of Us 2 get postponed. We had
No, Last of Us 2 is not from a developmental standpoint.
That wasn't it.
It's not confirmed, but basically, I mean, they did it because if you don't have a physical release, you're going to lose a significant portion of your profits from that game, which makes sense. And I don't understand why anyone would be mad about that. Like, why would a company deliberately make less money?
Animal Crossing did amazing, though.
I think it's also...
Would Animal Crossing do that well if it didn't release during the quarantine?
Who knows? They sold 5 million digital copies. I don't know how many physical copies they sold.
Oh, okay.
I think it's also just a lot of being nervous about the future supply chain, and they're like, well, and it's how investors react to those numbers. So regardless of the messaging, if investors get low numbers, they're going to be, this isn't good. So I think they're just like, hey, why do this when we can just sit and wait? They're going to be sitting and wait on it, because it pretty much was already ready to go gold from what I read.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter really at the end of the day. I mean, like, because the video game industry or the audience is so used to delays anyway. It's not like when you delay a film and there's more like hoopla or delayed like a television show. We're used to delays. This game was already delayed too, by the way, not that long ago.
But think about it. This time last year, we thought we were going to be playing Cyberpunk right now. We thought we'd be playing Last of Us 2 right now. No, wait, Last of Us 2 was a May release, so we would still be waiting on Last of Us 2.
Yeah, but
we'd be playing Cyberpunk. Imagine Cyberpunk during the quarantine. That would
Don't say that. Why are you saying this? I'm telling you not to say it. And just go ahead and say it.
It's going to be a better game now that we postponed it, because I'm one of those people that praises postponements. I love it because we were going to get a better product at the end. But it would have sure been nice to play Cyberpunk on this quarantine. I'm telling you that now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. You can't. People talk out of both sides of their mouths all the time. It's like, you're going to get upset about postponements, but at the same time, you're going to just trash No Man's Sky for coming out too early, which, like, rightfully so. It shouldn't have come out because it was like a broken game when it was released. But, like, you can't have both. You can't be like, oh, it's so great that No Man's Sky's gotten so much better, even though they charged people full price when it came out and it was a broken game.
And they made it right. They made it right. No Man's Sky made it right.
Like a year and a half later.
They still made it right.
They didn't refund anybody.
And still made it right. You can go back and play No Man's Sky if you paid it for the $60 original. It's a great game now. I might play it this weekend.
Yeah, and it's like at the end of the day, though, it's like for their company, for Hello Games, like I'm curious, like how they're not. This isn't DLC. Like, how are they making more money? Like, does that mean they just outsold so much in the onset that they were just able to? We could probably do a whole episode on them and just the development of that game, because
I know the answer. If any of these companies reported their numbers. Drives me freaking crazy.
And it's interesting because this is the way the games are going now, because we talked about Animal Crossing. Like, Animal Crossing did not release a full game. They're going to be adding patches monthly. We don't know how long they'll be supporting their game. I mean,
everybody's playing it.
Everyone's playing it, exactly. But are we going to get full games anymore? Final Fantasy VII is the first part of how many?
Full games anymore?
Are we? Because look at the last top games that we got. Final Fantasy VII is a part 1 of whatever. Animal Crossing, which was not the full release. We're probably not gonna get the full release of Animal Crossing until a year.
I would argue that Animal Crossing is the full release. There's just certain characters, like, I don't see that as actual fundamental game change. It's a guy you can
big
get.
Surprise, Collin shilling for Nintendo again.
Sorry that my pockets are fat with that big Nintendo money.
Well, it's The Sims. Okay, there's a small segment of people that are going to know what I'm talking about. But it's the Sims 4 thing. Like Sims 3, we had a full-on experience where you could go throughout your neighborhoods. Everyone was running at the same time. And Sims 4 took a huge step back for the series where people hated that game. I still think Sims 3 is a far superior product. So it's the same with Animal Crossing. They just gave us a less... And no, they're still going to add on to it, but why not give us a full experience at the beginning?
But
I don't get it.
You just said that you spent 250 hours in The Sims 4.
Yeah, so. But I still don't understand why they just couldn't give us a full release. Same with.
Yeah, but you're still playing it for over 200 hours.
Yeah, because I'm going to play Animal Crossing regardless. But same with Final Fantasy. I have to pay $270 to get a full Final Fantasy experience. Who wants?
You don't care as long as you're paying that money.
Yeah, but still, it's just release all of it at once. Why I gotta wait for 10 years? I'm gonna be 50. I mean, 50.
Well, Eddie, if they did put everything on Animal Crossing, there would have been someone 6 hours there I beat the whole game.
And that's their fault. And that's their problem because they're a dummy who likes to time travel. I don't care about that's their
problem.
Nintendo
needs to make a bigger game.
That's very true. Dude, that happened in New Leaf.
Got him.
I think that happened with New Leaf. People were this game is small.
People are I've spent 10,000 hours on Destiny 2. This game is broken. It is not complete. It's you spent 10,000 hours on a game for $60. You should
hide your IP address. Hide your IP address. You're about to get shocked saying stuff like that.
I just love Collin's dumb idiot voice. Hey, let me tell you about this game.
Hey, I'm Johnny Gamer. That's gonna be my new.
You can find me on Reddit. Yeah. What's up?
Oh my God!
I'm an inside source for Kotaku.
Shots
fired.
I'll delete it. I'll edit it out.
I think we're running out of time.
Yeah, we are.
I want to thank everybody for joining us. It has been a long time since we made a podcast. Hopefully, we can get back in the swing of doing these. Things have been really weird lately, not just in the world at large, but also at my company. Just professionally, a lot of crazy stuff going on. But I love doing these, and it was very nice to talk to you guys, and I appreciate everybody who's listening and supports the podcast anyway. We're on the Twitters, we're on the YouTubes, we're over.
That's it. That's all we're on. We don't have a website anymore. We are slowly.
It's called a startup. We're bare bones. We're scrappy.
We drink IPAs. Okay,
we're drinking IPAs over happy hour right now. I mean, this is as startup as it gets.
It doesn't get more startup.
But if you do want to support us, we will be posting our video podcast. I like this. I think we should stay on this. We'll be posting our video podcast on YouTube. So subscribe to our YouTube, check out our YouTube, and just follow our Twitter. That's where we're going to post.
And much like the Final Fantasy VII Remake, we're horny, guys. Look at how horny we are. We're just bringing the horniness right now.
You both have partners. Let's not do this.
Come join our horniness.
One of you is engaged and one of you is married. Let's not do this. I am single as can be. Let's not do this.
I don't think my wife even knows I have a podcast.
She shouldn't. She shouldn't.
I'm talking to myself in the room again.
Who are you talking to?
Don't worry about it.
I'm over here gaming.
I'm
on Game on Reddit. Let's go.
Gamers over here. I'm gaming.
Let's go.
Thanks, everybody. We love you.
Love you. Bye. Hi, Earl.
Hi, Earl.
Hi, Earl.
Video games. Talking about video games.